Beth, I have cards for you. Oh, perfect, thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
We have everybody?
Everybody start. Yep. Tim, Monica, can you guys hear us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All set?
Yep, let's start.
Okay, it's 5:45. We have Chair Reese Adams,
Present.
Vice Chair Martin Gilmore,
Here?
Kyle Conrad,
Here.
Amy Fox,
Present.
Julie Parker,
Here.
Stacy Potash,
Here.
Leah Moran,
Here.
alternate member Monica Alvarez.
Here.
We have council member Chelsea Noonenkamp,
Present.
MOA representative Tim Vaca,
Here?
Inglewood School liaison Emily Ancona,
Here.
and staff we have director Christina Underhill,
Here.
library and cultural arts manager Bethany Lafferty, and event supervisor Tony Arnold.
Here.
All right, thank you.
Do you want to make an introduction?
I can, yeah. So I'm excited to introduce Beth Lafferty. She is our new library and cultural arts manager.
Welcome.
Thank you.
From Henderson.
Yeah, Henderson, Nevada.
Yep. I used to frequent the Green Valley Ranch Library.
That's where I work. That was the location I was at. Small world.
Yep. Small world. All right. Okay, let's review the minutes from last month. I think Betty had them up if you'd like to review on the screen. And once you've had a chance to review, if I could get a motion to approve them. I motion to approve. Thank you. Can I get a second? I'll second. Thanks, Kyle. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We don't have any public comment, right?
We do not.
Okay, well then we'll jump right into our old business. The first on the agenda is the Cherokee and Floyd public art proposal that we have had presented last week by Meg Donaldson from the Cushing Park neighborhood. I think we kind of spoke at length about that, but did everyone have a chance to sort of digest this, maybe go by the space, and are there any thoughts or proposals?
I sent her a copy of the mural stuff that we did in down on the Platte River,
Yeah.
and she said thank you, and then I haven't heard from her since. So I think it's still very doable, especially with students and free labor from those students. But I didn't know where she was at in the process, if they had found out about the grant yet.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna, the grant, the neighborhood grant is, we know?
I can't remember what she said when she
Wasn't
was
it May
I
9th?
I thought it was,
I think it was May 9th.
I think it's
find
after
out.
this meeting, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
so, I don't know, anybody who has any thoughts? Because you were saying, like, we probably, if we were gonna involve students, we wouldn't be till like August or September anyway, right? So, I mean, I guess in theory, we could like postpone this for another month if we wanted to see how the neighborhood grant shook out. And then, I mean, She's looking for concept generation, artist sourcing, financial contribution, and technical guidance. And I think the commission could probably decide on the financial contribution piece maybe next month. And if we do this in collab with the students, and I think the other items kind of take care of themselves.
Yeah.
I went by this space, gone by a couple of times, it's rough.
Yeah.
So it's really rough. So when we think about what this looks like from a longevity standpoint, there's, the concrete's rough, there's weeds, I mean, it's lots of potholes. So we might need to kind of work with the students to see if we can find a decent site or something. But if she gets let's see what she gets with the grant money.
Is that a public lot?
It's a private, right? It's a private lot?
Semi-private.
Semi-private lot?
Yeah, it's owned by the Inglewood Environmental Foundation or overseen by it currently. A lot can change possibly in June, depending on what happens with EAF.
Yeah.
It might be gone by June, so then it becomes city property, which could change things too. So
Okay, so
So
maybe it does
timing-
make sense.
fall might really make a lot of sense because there might be some new things in place by that time or changes in that time frame.
Okay. So then I would move to just table this for another month. And do you have any?
Just, sorry, I missed the last
Yeah.
meeting, so this stuff that she's looking at, she wants us to help with the concept, which will then help define the budget. That one, or we're waiting for the grant to.
I think we're gonna wait for the grant to see. I think like conceptually, she had some examples that we had attached
Yeah.
last week that had, I would say, I don't wanna say simple designs, but they weren't like intricate murals. They're kind of like paint, for lack of a better word, paint by number, you know?
These kind of things.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if I envision it, it would be largely material costs.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, thoughts? Okay. Art, meet and greet, studio, all of the above.
Yeah, so I think we've decided on our first date for, well, we're gonna talk about this as a subcommittee, but a recommendation from Tony was maybe to do it as a call for artists for title, but as a meet and greet. July 21st is the date that it seems to work with all the committee and with all the stakeholders at the moment. We also have a tentative location, which is Devil's Head Distillery. So we're working on that. And hopefully that the goal is the call for artists will build towards our studio art tour. So
Yeah.
first we want to get the artists, connect with them, figure out who's in the community, who wants to be involved, and then roll with next steps.
Okay. And the funding's already, we have a sponsor, yeah?
Well, we kind of have a sponsor, but we're talking about if we should just put the sponsors towards the studio art tour or art tour, because they get a lot more bang for their buck as far as like Inglewood sponsorship layering after talking to Tony tonight.
Okay.
So I was going to request maybe from the commission tonight if we could have a sponsorship of 500 for 2 events, for 2 meet and greets.
Mm-hmm.
But we do, I mean, like Devil's Head Distillery wants to put some money towards this event. There's some different groups. So I do think we will have in-kind donations for sure.
Okay. So July 21st, that would give us 2 meetings until the next time. If we work backwards, what do we need to accomplish here in the next, by like the June meeting?
That's a good question. I think right now from this group, we just need a budget. We
Okay.
plan to send out the invites, which we already have a flyer created.
Okay.
We've been collecting emails and thinking about different artist groups to reach out to, as well as like kind of on our own collecting names. And
Uh-huh.
hopefully anyone in this group can send us people we should invite, like please do. Hopefully we can get the email sent out after our next subcommittee meeting, and then I need to work with Tony to have some like social media
Yeah,
shout outs to hopefully get people to our event.
okay, yep.
So I think that's where we are as far as this group goes.
So you're proposing $500, so $250 an event, and then second event probably sometime in the fall, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then really work on sponsorships, because I think once we get to an art tour, studio art tour, we need to plan a budget around $4,000 to $5,000. And that's where we're gonna need bigger money for that marketing piece.
What did you contemplate in the $500?
What it will go towards, food.
Yeah.
Food and drinks. Beverage. Yeah, beverage. Yeah, food and beverage.
And probably like, if we need any, just like table swag and stuff like that. Yeah, okay.
And I still might be able, I might have somebody who's interested in tagging on to the meet and greets, as long as we can tag them into the actual event. But only having, 25 artists at each of our meet and greets, I don't think that's a big, huge sell for somebody to give us like $500.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to either tag them on to something or just hold off.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so we probably should like secure some funding then if we, tonight. And we have it in the budget, so I wouldn't mind moving to approve a $500 allowance for both events. And if anybody wants to second that, that would be great.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Thanks you guys for putting this together.
Thank you.
I think it's gonna be great.
I'm
We have
really
to take a
excited.
vote on that.
Oh, yeah, all in favor, all in favor of the funding.
All right.
Aye. Any opposed? Thanks, thanks, Martin. Okay, anything else we need to do on that?
No, I think the big thing is really if anybody has contacts or personal invites that, of people they'd like us to invite, let us know so we can get those invites sent out.
Do you have a master list going somewhere?
We-
So we don't
We're
duplicate?
gonna use the Inglewood, in the
We have a
Google
database.
Docs. Yeah, we do have a database, but I do think, it will help. I think anybody on the commission too, forwarding the email out to their personal contacts will help.
Yeah.
Just so they know it comes from somebody real, that
Right.
we really want them there.
Yeah.
So I think that's ways that everyone can help.
And should we send those contacts to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. Me or
Anybody?
anybody on the subcommittee, Stacy too.
I'll finalize the flyer
Okay.
within the next week, now that we have an actual date and a location. And I'll finalize the flyer and I'll send out a mass email so everybody has that flyer, a digital copy of that.
Do we need are we contemplating like print costs in that?
I think we were just gonna email it, but we could
Okay.
we could put we could put it up around town, but I don't think we need to do more than probably 50 unless you
Yeah,
have
okay.
any suggestions for that.
We could probably can we print 50 like paper flyers here? Yeah, okay. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how you people work. Okay, great, so then minimal cost.
Yeah, I think it's mostly gonna go through email,
Okay, that's great.
and then we can put some flyers up, and then send the same, it would be nice to do a social media.
Yeah. We get pretty good response from those. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, block party. So the block party is up next. We talked about it a little bit last month. And block party is in August, so we need to get moving. And I had a chance to go through our artist database and kind of look at all the various mediums and specialties that we have, of which it is varied. And so I wanted to throw this out as an option. We'd have to get on it kind of quickly, but I was wondering what the commission, I think in the past we've done about $1,000 towards some sort of art thing. But I was curious what thoughts would be around doing a call for just interactive art. And the call would, I don't know that the time for the block party, but if it's something that we would probably theoretically want to make family friendly, it'd probably be like, let's say, I don't know, 11 to 2 or something, come down and here's your time for your interactive art, but for an artist to know, like, here's your time frame that you would expect people to come, family friendly, here's the fee that we would pay, and then from the call, you know, here in the next, I hate to say it, but like, probably almost by the next meeting, if not July at the very latest, have a decision, and then move forward with something along those lines. How does that feel to you?
But the block party is from 4 to 10 p.m.
Okay,
So
I was trying to find out last year what was the
it was
time last
3
year?
to 9.
3 to 9, okay.
Is it on the 27th?
I think it's
Yes.
27th. What, is that something that you would be interested in if we had something like that, or do you have something other, like something specific that you envision?
This sounds really cool. I mean,
It does, and I want something. I love interactive anything.
Okay.
You know, so from as small as a selfie stand to, I mean, I have face painters. That's the only thing I.
You have a
come up
face
with.
painter? Oh yeah, that's right, you do. Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, and we were just kind of talking to him, like, we want people to come and like make art, you know,
Yeah.
kind of different, just anything interactive at any event is amazing.
Okay.
So.
So if it's from 4 to 10, then we'd probably want to, I don't know how many hours that somebody wants to stand and do something like that, but,
Are we gonna have multiple people? Maybe they could cycle through and one person can do it. That
well,
might be hard.
I don't know that I want to organize multiple people, but
could do like a youth and an adult, because kids aren't probably gonna be out till 10 o'clock, so
right.
maybe 2 different artists. It depends who you get too, I mean.
Well, and that's the thing, and what the idea is. So if it's an idea that's going to require, you know,
Yeah, because like one of us could stand there and, well, they take a break or something. That would be
Yeah,
fun.
like 5 to 7 and 7 to 9. You know, if you did 2 different things. Maybe kid-centered from 5 to 7, adult-centered from 7 to 9.
I don't know what adult art would be. I want
It'd be really interesting if you're in a beer garden.
Okay, all right. So, if we did something like well, then we also have to think it gets dark at like 8:30. So.
In August, does it get dark that early?
It was last year.
Mhm.
By like, it was like 8:40-ish, because by 9 o'clock it was dark when we were cleaning
Yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we like the idea of having multiple artists or one for like, I think about like the steamroller event at Celebrate Inglewood last year, and that was one interactive event that lasted, I don't know, 4 hours.
I think one artist,
I-
that's the right artist for this
Mhm.
event, whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
I kind of agree because I would hate to cut somebody short.
Okay.
Okay, so if we were to think one artist, you know, we can ballpark like kind of a 3 or 4 hour block, you know, that they have to kind of work within. 4 to 7 or 5 to 8 or something along those lines.
I would probably do them 4 to 7 because
That's what I think too.
the event changes pretty dramatically
Uh-huh.
past 7 or 8.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Uh-huh.
I figured that first hour's very quiet, you know, so
Yes, that's true, but.
then maybe that's a good opportunity
But a
a
nice
good
time,
draw.
but a nice time for families, especially if it's like,
Until
if we put it out there for families, like come at 4.
Well, and 4's a good time too because it kind of a little bit more marries with like dinner time a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well then that was what I was gonna propose that we move forward with is a call for interactive art. It could be, I mean, the world's art oyster, but then we get, the submissions in like we've done for other calls. Usually it's, send it to this email, here's what we need. And we, at this point, I think need to probably settle on a budget so that we can put it in a call. Thoughts on using like historical figures for like $1,000 for a 3-hour window?
That's what we've done before.
Yeah.
And that includes all the supplies or whatever they'd be doing.
It's $1,000, yeah. I mean, I think I would say, here's your $1,000 towards your time and supplies.
Do we also want to include a call reward for getting submissions to vote on? Just give them the
We
funds
haven't
and whoever
done,
wants.
we haven't done it in the past for some of our smaller events.
So just 1,000 for that, yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Do we need to consider that prices have gone up on everything?
I guess that's my question. If we think $1,000 is sufficient or if we need to push that number.
Give them a range. They can propose a range.
So, okay. Up to like a certain number. Although I would hate for it to be like, hey, yeah, I'm coming in at 700. I don't want any, for us, I don't want anybody to think that if they like lowball us, they're gonna be a preferred option or vice versa. So I think, I don't even know if I want to ask the cost so much, just provide it, kind of like what we've done in the past. What do you think, Martin?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know what the ideas would be, so I don't know how to answer that. I mean, if they're gathering recycling and making little recycling robot things or something like that, then the costs are really low for that, right?
But if they're actually building robotics?
Yeah, but if they're, like, I don't know what so I guess it depends on what the idea is. I sort of feel like if we just give them that amount and say, this is the amount that we're paying for the artist, and they can just conform that idea.
Yeah, that's true. They can work within that scope.
And we're
We already know that that's what we were going to devote to that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we were planning.
That's what we have devoted to it.
And we're gonna vote on them, because
Yeah.
we're doing a call, so we're
Yeah.
gonna see their proposals
Yeah.
before they go.
And I know things have gotten more expensive, but I think there are a lot of things that wouldn't necessarily be that expensive. So.
Yeah.
That could be, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's,
I guess I don't know what all the different options in interactive art are to decide. Because I can think of a lot of interactive art that is really expensive if you want this stuff.
right.
Like I work at Swallow Hill, and one of the things, it's not art, but like one of the things they do is just an instrument petting zoo where they go put a bunch of instruments out. It's very
That's cool.
interactive, and it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That could be an interactive art kind
Mm-hmm.
of. They have a fee that they charge for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly what it is, but that's mostly just goes to paying the people to sit there.
Yeah. Right.
The range is pretty broad, what we just call it that. So.
Okay.
I
So-
motion that we put 1,000 towards the block party interactive
Okay.
event, and that we do a call to artists this month.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Kyle, will you say that again? I'm sorry.
I motion that we put $1,000 towards an interactive artist at the block party, and that we do a call to artists this month.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I will put the call together and then, send it out in case anybody has any changes they need to make, and then work with the city to, get.
Can you also send that to me so I can send it to the institute at CU Boulder,
Mhm.
the Engineer Institute that does interactive art?
Yep. Okay.
Tony was just saying she has the t-shirts.
Oh.
And she's got them with her.
So I'm just gonna pass this around. You don't have to write down your name or anything. Just put, if you want one, just put down what size you want and I'll go down and get them and bring them back up before.
Before the meeting ends.
Like a big unveiling.
I must wore one, but it didn't match.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, median art update.
Yeah, so I talked to Sean Lewis this week and he gave me a little update on the wayfinding, placemaking art. So there was some art that was proposed as part of that plan. They actually are moving forward with it. It's manufactured, it's not a specific artist, but it's gonna be an entry point on the south side of the city coming in down Broadway. And then some other pieces that match it that go along with our wayfinding that'll be kind of placed throughout the city. So it's not per se real art, but it'll have the look to it. And so as far as meetings are concerned, I asked him, you know, what his thoughts were moving forward with other areas. And we've had conversations about the landscaping in our medians, and sometimes it doesn't look that good, even though we maintain it all the time, and it's just aging out. And so one thought that we had was getting some quotes for artificial turf, where you add then trees to it, and then some art. So I know Tim Baca had mentioned maybe doing a call for existing art to see prices and what it looks like. That might help us with the planning of future art in our medians or just around the city too, that we want to add in as a commission. We do have pedestals on the Hamden medians out here. So those are definitely great locations and they're ready to go to install that type of art.
So sorry to interrupt you. So the art that's gonna be on the south end of Hamden that is art but not art, where is that going?
South end of Broadway.
South end of Broadway.
Yeah, south end of Broadway. So that's been called out in the wayfinding master plan, the look of it. So it's gonna start to be incorporated throughout the whole city. So I figured start there. They've got the funding. They also have additional funding through that for some other art. So I know we're somewhat limited in our budget in purchasing art currently, especially large pieces. But I didn't know if that'd be of interest to do a call and see what we get and then have an idea moving forward too of the costs of what we might be looking at.
Yes, Tim, I have a question for you. In your experience, would you throw out a call with an open-ended budget, or would you normally see a budget and then the call in tandem with?
Normally you would see a budget and you might maybe put a range. That's just sort of best practices, but I suppose you could, I just think if you put anything out there, you'll get all kinds of things back.
Right.
And
Right.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, we could say 10 to 50,000 as far as the range is concerned, because I'm not sure. It could be more. The grass up on the north end is $100,000 a day. I did
220,000 for grasses.
what? It's more money. I did.
And it was inflation.
Our cap. So we receive as a commission 1% out of our capital budget. And depending on how much is being spent, it fluctuates year after year. I think 2023, we're getting a significantly higher amount than in previous years just due to what's in the capital. I did add in a line item for purchasing of art. I do not know if it'll be approved. And I kind of did a highball number of $250,000 per year for the next 5 years. Do not know if it'll be approved. If it is, we would have that funding then to continue to purchase art pieces to place in the city, or if MOA is willing to sell some of their art that they would like to leave here, maybe some of that could stay. We're somewhat limited in our options just because of our budget being somewhat small. I think we have 88,000 or 80,000 mark in our current budget. And so between doing events and sponsoring different projects, we want to make sure we have significant funding going forward. And so we'll see. We're in the beginning processes of the budget, and so we'll know by October, probably sooner than that, if it does move forward or not. But we're competing with Public Works and other very large projects for that kind of thing. So
Maybe rather than a call, we should just put together a couple of us to go do some kind of research.
Yeah, I was gonna say that same thing.
Subcommittee thing.
The cafe site that does art calls throughout the United States I find a pretty good resource for that. And so, I don't know if anybody else has accessed that site before, but I kind of put myself on there just to see what comes through, and honestly.
It's just called Cafe.
Yeah, it's like, if you Google like I just pulled it up.
And Reese, we have used, or the city has used them.
Yeah.
For art in the past, so we do have an account.
Okay.
The other thing that if we're doing this artist meet and greet, maybe there are artists here in Englewood would participate in that. And
True.
just to ask.
That's a good point too. How timeline?
We have some funding now, so I mean, I would say let's try to get one, just to get it going and have an idea of costs so we can budget for the future. I mean, maybe it's only one piece we could procure a year due to cost constraints if we don't get the capital budget or whatever it may be, so.
Are there guidelines since it's in the middle of the traffic?
Yeah, that's what
There would be. We'd have to work with Public Works and probably CDOT, just to get it approved, make sure it's not flashing or big red light on top of it.
And those aren't gonna change with the 285. No.
What, so we enhanced for the medians, there's a fifth median we didn't touch because that will be affected by the changes down further east. But yeah, we've got 4 medians here, and again, throughout the city, we might have other options to add in median art.
Okay. I think we should take the next month or so to do a little research. Does anybody want to take the lead on researching kind of what a price point looks like for this?
The one thing I did find out from our last meeting was I did get a group called We Clean Sculptures. It's Jane Dedecker's sister in Loveland, who's a professional sculpture cleaner. And I was gonna, I just haven't yet. I was gonna contact her to find out what she recommended material-wise, because I know we had questions about cleaning since it is in a roadway. Is that something we still think we need to figure out first as a material, or are we not worried about that? I don't know if that's necessary or not.
How about I look at my cafe account, and I'll just see kind of what's out there from a materials and cost standpoint, and then report back.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah. And we can they knew we might contact them. Like, I had reached out saying we might be interested in hearing more about what it's like to clean sculptures and maintain like artworks in the middle of,
Right.
or closer to roadways is really what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
But I think maybe we need more info before I reach out, you know?
Can we get an idea of the size, like the scope, the size that would be allowed?
Yeah, probably 6 feet, 6 to 8 feet. I mean, you don't want to be taller than the traffic lights. Although I've seen tall ones, but they didn't have lights near them.
There isn't any concern on, I mean, I've driven that stretch and traffic is so slow that it's hard to get out of control, but is there any concern about, some of them are like right next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That would be looking at the art. I think that's where Public Works comes in, and then just, obviously it can't obstruct traffic, so it can't be a tree with limbs that stick out and scratch cars as they go by. But yeah, I think do a little research, see what you can find, and then we'll go from there on that.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Anything else on that?
Well, who's gonna do the work?
I
Research?
said I'd do it,
Oh, you, okay.
unless you want to do it.
I can help. I just wanted to know.
Okay, let's then move into our new business. Swedish Horses, it's been a minute since we've talked about these, but we have 3 that are in Public Works, Parks garage somewhere. I would like to propose, and Christine, I didn't run this by you first, but if we could figure out a stand situation and some placement around the city interiors to place them where they would be safe and not climbable, in lieu of replacing them in their original locations, because I think that what happened will just repeat itself. And so I think it's probably best as these things kind of happen that we start to find safer spots for them. But I wanted to see if there was any objection to that, or
Are these ones that had never been installed?
No, they were installed and we had to take them out.
They literally walked
What
away.
happened? I would like a recap of what happened.
Oh, they were kicked, ridden,
Pulled on. people
pulled
tried to pick 'em
on,
up.
defiled by anybody who had been drinking that,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, because the first thing that came to mind as you say that is those wolves outside of the science museum where they've just like given up and are like, play them, like.
These aren't gonna
Yeah,
survive.
these ones.
Yeah.
People pulled on them. Our parks guys went out to check on them and literally were able to pick up a whole horse and remove it off because people had just wiggled it loose and it was more of a
Fiberglass, yeah.
Yeah, and it's fiberglass, so it's not super stable, I guess you could say.
Would that be an option, like to put them on stand here or in the library or at the rec center?
Yeah, okay. Can we see what we can come up with for that?
Yeah, I'll talk to the parks guys. I think the biggest concern is even if we put them indoors, somebody's gonna still
Yeah.
mess with it. So we don't want it to tip over, somebody to get injured if they do that. So I'll talk to them and see if there's something, and then we can talk location. If it's at the rec center, Malley here,
Yeah.
or all three locations, we can spread them out. So Malley has one, it's doing really well out
Yeah.
front. It's a
Yeah.
good location for it.
Yeah, it is.
But keep an eye on it.
Not a lot of.
Because the seniors are jumping on riding.
Apparently not. I don't know, but.
If they're on stands, could they also be like in parks? So they're not like rideable?
I think the stands aren't gonna be significant enough.
Yeah.
They'll probably still be low enough for somebody to, and they're little guys, they're not 6 feet tall horses, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, the other thing is if they're mobile, they can come with us out to events and.
Well, that's right. They totally, I mean, they're so light.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the one that walked away is,
The one that
It's
walked
fine.
away, we have not heard from the police department. But they
Yeah.
did, at the same time that one was stolen, so were the signage for like the heroes outside the hospital. So it was kind of like a
Big heist.
big heist.
weird.
Yeah.
It's unsolved mysteries.
The weird things.
Somebody's
do.
Mhm. Okay, next up is the logo, which we discussed last month. Christina sent over a couple of options. You don't happen to have those, do you? Here, can I
Do
forward
you
them?
have them on your?
Yeah.
I wonder if,
Can I just forward to your email?
So our communications department, one of our employees came up with some ideas, probably open to changes, but at least gets us started.
Yeah. I just think this is like, do any of their other commissions, I think does Parks have one that's just, no, nobody.
No, but you're the arts commission, you're special.
We have a budget.
You do have a budget. Parks commissions do a lot of events and things, so this
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
um,
Did it come through?
it came through, but.
Should be on the bottom.
Okay. I'm just trying to pull. Okay. That didn't.
It should be at the bottom of that one.
Yeah, but see, now I've got, okay. It's not. All right, hold on, guys. Try this again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So here are some options. And I think they're good options. I like the City of Englewood option at the bottom, if you scroll down just a little bit, because it says City of Englewood. So it's identifiable. Yeah.
Down there?
Yeah. But wanted to see if that's jazzy enough with the group.
I like that it says City of Englewood. I wonder if we can take that palette and replace the tree, but.
That was my thought too.
Yeah.
Add the palette to the City of Englewood.
Yeah. Add the palette to where the tree is and,
Tree on the palette.
or the tree on the palette. Yeah.
I'll let her know,
Okay.
see what she can do
That's
with it.
great.
Okay, cool. Okay. That's all I had on that. Tony's not here to talk about upcoming events. Maybe we'll just.
I got it.
Oh, you have it? Oh,
Not that I don't know. She sent us a note. So Celebrate Inglewood's this coming Saturday, 10 to 2 out by the police station, Denny Miller Field. That's Touch a Truck, and I think from 9:45 to about 10:15 is our quiet sensory hour. So kids, adults that like to have some quiet time to check out the trucks when the engines not running or the sirens aren't going, it's a good time to show up. But tons of booths, we've got food vendors, PDs out there, and so come on by if you want something to do on Saturday. And then on June 9th, mark your calendars for the volunteer appreciation event that's gonna happen at Pirates Cove. And that's from 6:30 to 8:30 out there. It's free entry for you all to come in and enjoy the water park. And I believe there's food and giveaways and fun things, and a chance for the city to say thank you to all of you for serving on boards and commissions. So again, that's Thursday, June 9th.
And I'll plug that. I went last year and we were the only ones there. So it's not like it's open to the public.
Right.
So it closes for volunteers.
Yeah.
Bring your family, bring your kids.
Mhm.
Great.
Bring your neighborhood, no, just.
What was the time for that?
6:30 to 8:30.
And as soon as I get information, they usually send an email, then I'll forward it on to you.
Thank you. Anything from staff's choice?
No, I think we covered a lot tonight. So you guys are doing some good work. I just have to say that. Like it's fun. We're getting momentum moving forward with things.
Yeah, it's good. Nothing from commissioner's choice unless the commission has anything they'd like to add. Anyone on the call? No. Okay, then let's adjourn.
And Monica, Tim, we'll get t-shirts for you guys and I'll email you when they're at the hub. You can stop by.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.